Tonight on CTV News, wildfire worry.
That's what's scaring everybody is if the flames come over the ridge.
The wildfire situation in BC continues to intensify, with blazes burning close to communities in the Okanagan, Fraser Canyon, and Vancouver Island. Also tonight,
there's a lot of people who can't even say the word mental health because of that shame and guilt.
BC paramedics in crisis. Deaths by suicide soar as a third of their workforce is receiving mental health treatment. And
Prime Minister's trying to get the best deal he can for Canadians.
Right now, all bad, not at the end of the rope, but pretty close to it.
The consequences sweeping Canada from stiffer tariffs. Which BC businesses are bracing for a big impact? And what could cost you more?
This is CTV News with Nafisa Karim.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Mi Jung is off. We begin tonight with the volatile wildfire situation as we head into the BC day-long weekend. Despite cooler weather in the forecast, crews are dealing with a spike in fire activity this week, thanks to more than 35,000 lightning strikes since Wednesday. Let's check in with Kevin Chirac in the Breaking News Center. Kevin, you're watching a few fires, including a big one on Vancouver Island.
Yeah, that's right, Nafisa. That Wesley Ridge wildfire between Port Alberni and Parksville, discovered just yesterday, is growing at a rapid pace, more than doubling in size in less than 24 hours. Firefighting crews having a tough time with the steep terrain near Cameron Lake. The fire has grown to at least 125 hectares. Dozens of firefighters and multiple air resources have been deployed, working round the clock. The fire lit up the ridge overnight and is threatening many homes on the northeast of the Wesley Ridge. Nearby campsites were evacuated yesterday. Crews are taking preventative measures to save homes, but residents have been told to prepare to evacuate at a moment's notice.
That's what's scaring everybody is if the flames come over the ridge.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably get an order.
There are indirect tactics we need to apply until the fire comes to an area where we can work at it safely.
Part of the response includes the use of an S-61 helicopter that can drop 1,000 gallons of water at a time. People living near the fire are being asked to watch for updates from the Regional District of Nanaimo website. Also, some good news on the wildfire front in the Okanagan. Peachland evacuees have returned to their homes. The evacuation order downgraded to an alert as the Drought Hill wildfire is now listed as being held, and no structural damage or injuries were reported. Nafisa.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. The village of Lytton is cautiously optimistic about a fire nearby that's burning out of control. That fire has prompted the evacuation of 2 properties on the Lytton First Nation reserves. But so far, residents in the village are safe. CTV's Yasmin Gandam has more from Lytton.
You can see some smoke in the air, and though the fire is south of Lytton, from where I'm standing, you can still smell it. Residents are cautiously optimistic, but preparing for the worst.
We have a lot of fire extinguishers all over the property, so we're kind of like doing our due diligence.
Tanya Peterkin has lived in Lytton for more than 20 years. Her farm was destroyed by the wildfire in 2021.
It's pretty stressful when the fires roll through because we lost our town in 21, and then in 22 we lost most of our farm at the back, but we managed to save our houses.
She is one of dozens on evacuation alert in Lytton due to the Cantilever fire burning out of control about 10 kilometers south of the village.
You're still looking out the window because it's 10 kilometers away and sparks are coming and big hunks of barks are flying on the deck.
And I realized that it would start at right, it looked like at the railroad tracks, in almost the identical place where the fire started in 2015. There was a fire that burnt the whole west side.
The fire has triggered evacuation alerts for 5 properties in the Thompson-Nicola Regional District and evacuation orders for 2 homes on nearby First Nation land.
Embers are more of a concern of taking out a property necessarily than the actual wildfire itself.
Most of the village was burned to the ground by fires in 2021, and the community is still picking up the pieces.
We lost everything. Our farm, our home, most of our animals, which was the really devastating part about that.
There are nearly 80 firefighters responding to the blaze, supported by 5 helicopters. BC Wildfire Service has now assigned an incident management team to the fire in order to relieve pressure from local fire centers.
I was out looking at the fire again this morning. It looks a lot less angry, and it's moved quite high up.
Cooler temperatures are expected over the weekend, as well as light winds, but the conditions remain dry as the small community hopes for the best. Yasmin Gantim, CTV News, Lytton.
It's a new reality for Canada. 35% tariffs are here. U.S. President Donald Trump has followed through with his threats, and now many industries are bracing for the impact. And as CTV's Dimitra Maragos reports, there are questions whether more turmoil is ahead when a free trade agreement is renegotiated next year.
Perplexed?
It's very, very confusing.
So are economists.
We just do not understand the logic and the strategy that's coming from the White House.
Michael Devereaux, an economics professor at UBC, says the 35% fentanyl-related tax put into motion Friday morning will hurt Americans.
What it means really is much more important for the U.S. consumer, because they actually pay the tariffs.
And explains?
Between 70 and 90% of our exports are still tariff-free.
The remainder of the goods not covered under the Canadian-United States-Mexico Agreement, or CUSMA,
they're going to be hit with a 35%, which is massive.
That means for some Canadian exports,
it's gone up so much, the U.S. consumer would just not buy it.
And there's no sector that has felt the weight of that more than our forestry sector here in British Columbia.
While some sectors of the forestry industry will not be directly impacted by the 35% tariffs as per CUSMA, Parmar says his ministry is focusing on creating robust relationships with other nations.
I'm going to be ensuring that my team has boots on the ground in those places, supporting small and medium-sized companies to be able to explore, finding new customers.
But he says while the provincial government's role is imperative,
we need the federal government to secure a long-term deal.
Do you think the government should retaliate?
Although federal ministers, including Vancouver MP Gregor Robertson, were tight-lipped,
Just trying to get the best deal he can for Canadians.
The PM putting out a strong statement saying in part the federal government is disappointed by the U.S. action and will act to protect Canadian jobs. But added this country will continue to negotiate with the U.S. while working to make Canadians their own best customers. However, Devereaux says history may repeat itself and President Trump could rethink the tariffs.
Might get a renegotiation in the next few days.
Now, Devereaux did add that British Columbians are in a difficult situation, and with CUSMA negotiations happening in the near future, a rational deal must be made so things don't get worse. Dimitra Maragos, CTV News, Vancouver.
With the BC day-long weekend upon us, thousands of people are on the move. Both the airport and BC ferries are seeing some of their highest passenger volumes of the year. CTV's Ben Nesbitt joins us live from the Tsawwassen Ferry Terminal. Ben, how's it looking out there?
Well, Nafisa, right now it's probably as quiet as it's been all day, but all day it's been pretty consistent. For those coming early this morning, I mean the crack of dawn, people coming here at 4 a.m. hoping to get on a boat, no reservation. They found out the hard way on a long weekend. Sometimes that'll make for a long day.
The line started from the crack of dawn and did not let up. Some travelers forced to wait several hours to get on a boat.
We got here at 4 o'clock this morning, and I thought half of Vancouver was here. I didn't have a reservation, so I'll catch the third sailing.
On its 4 main routes, BC Ferry says it's anticipating an additional 5% vehicle traffic compared to regular summer weekends and an additional 10% in walk-ons. Reservations sold out Friday, making for a potentially long day for those without one.
I missed 2 sailings and I'm still here, and I do not know if I'm going to get on the 10 a.m. one as well.
At YVR, things got off to a rough start with several flight delays Thursday night, but the airport says it's back on track. They're expecting roughly 360,000 passengers Friday through Monday.
We are just working that much more closely with our different airport partners to make sure that our different operational plans are all syncing and that we do have adequate staffing.
The airport says many people appear to be staying within our borders, with 4 out of the 5 top destinations being Canadian cities. Travelers are encouraged to leave themselves plenty of time to get to their terminal.
Things like parking, you can book in advance or consider taking Canada Line, arriving early, up to 2 hours ahead of domestic flights, 3 hours for U.S. and international.
With the province's wildfire situation escalating, BCAA is advising those road tripping to check ahead to see if you'll be driving through or near an impacted area and to pack an emergency kit with extra food and water.
The final 3 sailings to Victoria from here have sold out for the night, and the next 2 into tomorrow morning are looking pretty full as well. BC Ferries is asking anyone who has a reservation to come well in advance and to check in line to make sure things are still running smoothly. Nafisa.
Ben Nesbitt live for us tonight. Thank you, Ben. Breaking news, unionized workers at Canada Post have voted to reject the Crown Corporation's latest contract offer. It was rejected with 68.5% of ballots cast, according to the Industrial Relations Board. The offer included wage hikes of about 13% over 4 years, but would have added part-time workers. The vote comes after more than a year and a half of talks with the Canadian Union of Postal Workers, which represents roughly 55,000 workers. It's been a year since a shopkeeper in Surrey was set on fire, and the suspect wanted for attempted murder is still at large. 33-year-old Khalid Yemer allegedly entered a currency exchange on City Parkway on August 2nd last year, poured accelerant on the victim, then set it alight, sending the man to hospital with severe burns. Police believe Yemer is still in the Lower Mainland, but also has ties to Calgary and Toronto. They're asking the public to be on the lookout for him and call 911 if you see him. Setup is underway in the Davie Village ahead of Vancouver Pride events this weekend. And while many are excited, security and financial considerations are casting a dark shadow over the festivities. Here's CTV's Martin McMahon.
Pride is always a party, a celebration which means so much to so many.
It has always been very close to my heart when I see that the reaction to most people who to the Pride Parade is joy or even tears, that I see people crying as they witness the Pride Parade.
But more than decorations are being set up in Davie Village. Concrete barriers have been placed at key points. Security in focus after April's Lapu Lapu festival attack, which left 11 people dead.
This is supposed to be a safe, festive, fun celebration of diversity in our community, and we will do everything that we can to make sure that it continues to be that way. That means uniformed officers, VPD personnel, traffic closures where needed, barricades to block streets.
And while safety is a priority, it is adding a significant cost for organizers.
It's a little galling that basically the way the city has been funding Vancouver Pride Society is they charge us this huge bill for security and cleanup costs, and then they discount us a little bit, and they call that sponsoring.
The City of Vancouver is providing the Pride Society with $75,000 of in-kind support. The city adding that it's also given organizers $100,000 in grants since 2020. Sunday's parade will also have a more traditional route, moving east to west and finishing closer to the West End.
It's huge. We heard very loud and clear from our community, both our businesses and our residents, that when the parade relocated and the festival along with it, that there was a huge sense of loss.
With the parade ending closer to the West End, it also marks the return of the Davie Village Pride Fest after a 6-year hiatus. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
A tragic story out of the Comox Valley where a 26-year-old woman and her infant have died. The mother and 5-month-old were on a beach at the Cumberland Park campground when a tree fell on them. It happened yesterday just before 2 p.m. Emergency crews responded, but despite their efforts, the young mother died at the scene. The infant was taken to hospital but did not survive. RCMP are now working with the coroner to determine the exact circumstances surrounding the deaths. The search continues for a man who may have drowned in Alouette Lake last night. According to police, the man fell off a paddleboard just before 7 p.m. Thursday night and did not resurface. Search and rescue volunteers scoured the lake in Golden Ears Provincial Park, but were unable to find him. The search is continuing today with assistance from an RCMP helicopter. And the Othello tunnels in Coquihalla Canyon Provincial Park have reopened while the search for a missing 19-year-old continues. The teen was last seen going into the water near the tunnels last Saturday night. Some areas of the park will be restricted as the search continues tomorrow. BC's ambulance paramedics and dispatchers are seeing a disturbing spike in deaths by suicide among their members. Why it's happening is a mystery, and they're urging the province to figure out what's behind the mental health crisis and act swiftly. CTV's Penny Daflos has the details.
When someone's hurt, they're the highly trained professionals who show up day or night. But the stressors of the job and the trauma they're repeatedly exposed to are taking a tragic toll.
This job can take a piece of you, and sometimes it can take a whole lot more.
4 paramedics have died by suicide so far this year in BC, quadruple the norm. According to union stats, a full third of the province's paramedics and dispatchers are currently receiving mental health care.
What we're looking for is a joint inquiry with BC EHS and the provincial government. We want to come up with solutions, not so much blame, to see what we can do to help our members come forward when they need help.
They're under incredible pressure right now. The call volume is significant.
BC EHS isn't committing to an inquiry, but will be holding discussions with stakeholders.
What we're going through right now, it is deeply personal and it's very challenging. And what we really ask is for understanding and compassion and support as we all work through this together and recognize where we do need to do better.
There's a lot of people who can't even say the word mental health because of that shame and guilt.
Supports are already available to loved ones who notice a change in behavior.
What we've realized is we actually do take a lot of this stuff home, and it affects our families.
Getting those supports in time has been a challenge.
It has come such a long way in the last 10 years. I would say we've only scratched the surface. We need more resources. We need more access to immediate psychological support.
Whether it's a specific incident or the cumulative impacts of the heat dome, repeated overdose calls, and chronic short staffing, it can take time for those traumas to weigh down the people we count on in our time of need. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Abbotsford.
If you or someone you know needs help, the Suicide Crisis Helpline is available 24 hours a day. To reach the helpline, just call or text 988. And if you need immediate assistance, call 911 or go to the nearest hospital. The House of Commons Transport Committee launched a study today into the $1 billion loan BC Ferries is using to get 4 new ships built in China.
I'm very disappointed by the decision and the fact that that this procurement will not benefit as many Canadian workers as we all wish it should. I think that disappointment is shared widely across the country. And that said, these ferries need to get built. They need to be in service for the people of BC.
Thank you, Minister.
The committee agreed to launch a study after BC Ferries announced in June it was hiring a company in China to build 4 new vessels. The Canadian Infrastructure Bank contributed $1 billion to the bill. Canadian Housing Minister and former Vancouver Mayor Gregor Robertson testified today, saying the federal government played no role in the decision. Well, it should have been a safe ride home, but it turned into a nightmare.
And he said, "Are you sure? Like, you can come and I can pull over and you can come up to the passenger seat and hang out with me?" And I was like, "You know, I'm okay, thanks."
And that was just the beginning of what happened when this young Calgary woman was taking an Uber home, how it got scary quickly, and what police are saying. When CTV News continues, stay with us. Squamish Search and Rescue sharing this video of a dramatic rescue in Shannon Falls. The man slipped and suffered an arm injury at the falls on Wednesday and was unable to hike out. With the help of Blackcomb helicopters, rescue crews were able to long line him to safety. Crews are reminding everyone to have proper footwear and keep away from fast-moving water. A Calgary woman is sharing a scary experience with a recent Uber ride. She says the driver made several sexual advances toward her and at one point even deviated from her route home. He's now banned from the platform. But as CTV's Terry Fikowski reports, she wants to warn other women to be extra vigilant when using a rideshare service alone.
I haven't for quite some time now.
What should have been a safe ride home turned into a nightmare for Akaya Dos Santos. The 23-year-old was picked up from a nightclub around 2 o'clock in the morning on July 19th by an Uber driver with a 5-star review.
He was asking me, how was your night? How was the club? Oh, I've never been here before. And then he started asking me, well, you know, do you want to go with me tomorrow?
Dos Santos became uncomfortable when the man kept asking her to sit up front and making sexual advances, so she started recording.
I'm happy just chilling in the back.
In the video, the man is heard asking if she'd had sex that night. She says despite being visibly intoxicated, the man kept offering to buy her alcohol and go back to her place together, which she declined.
Do you need some drinks or?
Drinks?
Yeah.
I think I'm like up as is.
She says she tried to be friendly, brushing off his comments because she felt vulnerable as the only passenger. But when the driver began to deviate away from her route home, she got scared.
I immediately felt my heart drop to my stomach and I was like, where are we going? He was like, the liquor store. And I was like, you know, I just want to go home, please.
When she finally arrived home, she reported the ride to Uber. The company banned the driver in a statement saying this behavior is unacceptable and has no place on the Uber platform, adding the man had been an Uber driver since 2024 with no prior complaints. Calgary police did investigate, but no charges were laid. However, the city of Calgary did revoke the driver's rideshare license.
Something seems strange, terminate that trip immediately, and then once that trip is complete and you're in a safe place, please reach out and we'll investigate.
Uber has several safety features, like an emergency button that shares real-time information with 911 operators. The company is also testing a feature in parts of the U.S. that allows female riders to request a female driver. But with no plans to bring it to Canada, Dos Santos wants women to be more alert when riding alone.
I just keep thinking of, well, what if I was more intoxicated that night? Very scary situation.
Terry Fikowski, CTV News, Calgary.
An eyebrow-raising design on Vancouver's new Granville Connector walking and cycling path is only temporary, according to the city. Combined benches and accessibility ramps on the path have drawn some snarky comments online, with some calling it hilariously bad and depressing. The city of Vancouver noted this is only phase 1 of the Granville Connector. The benches and ramps will be replaced during a later phase. I wonder how long it'll take someone to put up some variation of dude chilling park signs, some kind of snarky sign. I can just see it happening by the time the long weekend is over.
I'm just glad that it's in the pedestrian path. I thought it was actually
in the
roadway lane. I was like, that's not too smart. But yeah, can't wait for the next phases to come in. All right, happy August and happy Friday. A beautiful day out there. We are enjoying a mix of sun and cloud. Temperatures are a touch cooler, but still above seasonal. Here's a look at temperatures across the lower mainland right now. 25 at the harbor, 26 in North Vancouver right now, as well as Pitt Meadows, and in Surrey, you're looking at 25 degrees in Abbotsford and Chilliwack as well. So as we head through the overnight, another clear and seasonal night, dropping down to 14. Into tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies, 23 degrees, but factoring that humidex, it'll still feel like 29.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Explore the endless possibilities at one of our 36 BC locations. Learn more at expediacruises.ca.
It was a really dry July, and that's how we're starting off August, but there are showers in the forecast. Those details coming up.
Ooh, thanks. Can't wait. Bye. After the break, key lime crime.
Mostly I felt sorry for the person.
Caught on camera, a masked thief busts into an Ontario bakery and takes a slice of pie. But first, speaking of hungry, we'll show you a sinkhole in Alberta that swallowed a couple of cars. CTV News at 6 continues. Stay with us. At least 23 people have been hurt after a ride at an amusement park in Saudi Arabia snapped in half. And a warning, some may find this video upsetting. The ride is called the 360 Big Pendulum. You can see it somehow buckling as it was swinging, knocking some people off the ride. 3 people have suffered critical injuries. The fairground has since been closed as an investigation gets underway. Meanwhile, we're learning more about a deadly plane crash near Ottawa, killing the pilot and sending 2 passengers to hospital. It's being speculated that an engine failure was what caused the plane to go down while attempting to make an emergency landing at Ottawa International Airport. The small plane took off from the airport in Gatineau, Quebec around 5:35 last night with 3 passengers on board. The plane lost altitude and struck hydro wires before crashing into some trees about half an hour later.
All the windows were busted out, and I saw fuel dropping from the tail, and then I started seeing sparks all along the telephone poles.
2 of the passengers were taken to hospital in stable condition. The plane has been taken to the TSB's lab near the Ottawa airport for further investigation. Well, 2 cars had to be pulled out of a sinkhole in a parking lot near Edmonton after being sucked into the massive gap. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti has the story.
This sinkhole swallowed up 2 cars parked by an apartment building in Leduc Thursday night, leaving some neighbors caught off guard.
Absolute shock. I had walked by an hour before. Everything was fine. I come back out, poof.
They usually keep pretty good care of this place, so I was pretty shocked when I seen this on Facebook.
I'd have to say it's a freak of nature. It happens once in a while.
Christina Forrester was walking her dogs when she saw what happened.
They came around the corner to drive in their parking spot, and the ground just like that.
The 2 cars nearly fell all the way in before they were towed out. It's unclear what caused the sinkhole. The area around it at McEwen Greens has since been fenced up. Ken Cochran lives in the area and isn't worried his car could be next.
We have one that here, and we also keep an underground one, so our vehicle's always safe, hopefully, because it could happen over there. Who knows? It's a freak.
The city says it's not aware of any injuries that occurred. It says the infrastructure under the parking lot wasn't installed or owned by the city since it's a private development. CTV News reached out to the property managers of the building but didn't hear back. And while the hole awaits to be fixed up, Forrester thinks there could be one use for the unwelcomed hole.
It would make a great pool.
In Leduc, Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News.
Now to a bizarre break-in at an Ontario bakery where the suspect involved clearly had his eye on the pie. The owners of Mom's Bread and Pie Company in Kitchener say their business was broken into early Wednesday morning. They say the suspect helped himself to some cheap electronics, but more importantly, a slice of key lime pie. The store owner says the damage was under $5,000, but the response from the community has been priceless.
Everybody has been absolutely amazing. People bringing us chocolate for stress eating and coffee and plants. At the end of the day, we're going to continue on as usual.
Local police say the investigation into the key lime caper continues while the sweet-toothed thief remains at large. After the break, hockey homecoming.
It's a full circle moment. You get to play in front of the people who have been a part of your village your entire journey.
We'll introduce you to some of the stars of Vancouver's first professional women's hockey team, including some local talents who are coming home. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're finally getting to hear from the players on Vancouver's first professional women's hockey team. From a well-known Canadian hockey star to an up-and-coming local talent, they believe Vancouver will be a team to beat. CTV's Isabella Zavarisi has more.
Meet the players on Vancouver's first professional women's hockey league team.
To be right here with the torch behind me is like incredible. The mountains in front of me, like this view is something that I don't get to see every day being in Toronto, and so to be here, a part of like this brand new franchise in Vancouver is absolutely amazing.
Canadian Olympian and Vancouver forward Sarah Nurse spent her last 2 seasons with the Toronto Scepters.
We got a team!
In April, the PWHL announced it would be adding teams in Seattle and Vancouver.
I think the opportunity for me to be able to help start an expansion franchise in a market that really has never had women's hockey before was really cool for me.
A sentiment echoed by Surrey's Jen Gardner, who's coming off her rookie season in Montreal.
It's a full circle moment. You get to play in front of the people who have been a part of your village your entire journey.
Joining them is goaltender Kristen Campbell.
Being able to be on this team, it's just an honor, and I'm really excited for the group that's been pulled together.
All three played in January's sold-out game at Rogers Arena during the PWHL's Takeover Tour.
Felt like the entire city of Vancouver and province of British Columbia was in that building.
The players acknowledge it won't be easy for the league's newest team.
The original 6 teams, they've had a 2-year runway to kind of perfect operations off of the ice, and so I think we're going to be playing a little bit of catch up, but I have full faith in this organization. And
an organization working to create more opportunities in women's hockey.
Now it's not a dream of playing for the Vancouver Canucks with the Sedins like I once had. It's now you can dream and you can play on PWHL Vancouver, which is the most special part.
The team will play its first game this fall when the puck drops at Pacific Coliseum. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
A heads up for commuters in Surrey and New Westminster with partial closures coming to the Patella Bridge next week. The bridge will be closed to vehicles traveling south into Surrey from August 5th through 7th from 9 p.m. until 5 a.m. The bridge will remain open for pedestrians, cyclists, and first responders. Any drivers affected by the closures are encouraged to take the Port Mann or Alex Fraser instead. With the twinned Nikomekel River Bridge now open in Surrey, we want to correct some details about it that aired yesterday. Work began on the project in 2023, and it doesn't replace any bridges. This new bridge completes the widening of 152nd Street from 2 to 4 lanes. It's being celebrated as the final milestone in the $44.4 million 152nd Street upgrades project. After the break, what happened after an Uber drove away before a mother could unload her sleeping child? Plus,
when John handed her his driver's license, she said, "Oh dear, I'm sorry, but we can't rent to you."
All they wanted to do was rent a car in Victoria. Turns out this man was denied because of his age. That story plus Anne's full forecast is after the break. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar still trading around 72 cents U.S. Oil is down nearly $2, closing at $67 U.S. a barrel. Gold is up $51. The TSX was down 239 points, and the Dow Jones also down by 542 points. Hey, also down, the Mercury, and Anne's got more details in her long weekend forecast.
Yes, that is right. Things will slowly cool down as we head into the BC Day long weekend, but let's see how July fared. As we said hello to August today. So the average for this month was 24 degrees as a high, well above the seasonal of 22.4. Pretty close for the overnight lows, but it was a dry one, 17 millimeters only for this month. The seasonal average at 34.1, but not the driest July that was set back in 2013 with no traceable rainfall amounts. All right, we still have watches and warnings in effect. Heat warnings have been lifted for the central interior as well as southern interior, still in place for the northeast corner of the province with severe thunderstorm watches and warnings in place, and for the southern interior with a smoky skies bulletin in place for 100 Mile House, Caribou region, as well as the Fraser Canyon and the South Thompson region and Fort Nelson heading into the weekend. Ridge of high pressure still dominates the south coast. There's the line of active weather for the southern interior and the central interior as well, the northeastern corner of the province as we head into the next few days. So keeping an eye on the wildfires with lightning strikes possible, heavy rain which should help, but also strong winds which could fan the flames as we head into the long weekend. So active weather for the southern interior, your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Early morning clouds clearing out of the way for Port Hardy with a high of 18, mostly sunny skies for Campbell River and Comox. Comox with a high of 25. Slight drizzle to start off the day for Tofino. Clears up quite nicely through the afternoon. Sunshine from Port Alberni right down to Victoria. Same story for the Sunshine Coast in 24. Warmer up the Sea to Sky Highway. 26 for Squamish, 27 for Whistler, and for us across the Lower Mainland. Mostly sunny skies with temperatures between 24 and 25 degrees. The Pride Parade will be pretty nice. A mix of sun and cloud, 22 degrees. Seasonal temperatures for holiday Monday. Under a mix of sun and cloud, it does cloud over on Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll see a few scattered showers before it dries up. Light rain, yay, expected on Thursday with 21 degrees. And then it dries up on Friday, 22 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So looking forward to that rain coming our way.
You know what? That is perfect weather for the parade because you want it to be nice, but you don't want it to be too hot.
Yes, because we've experienced very hot conditions for the parade before.
Yeah, no, I'll take a little moderation.
Me too.
Thanks, Anne. Well, many people are still enjoying their summer vacations, and that may mean renting a car, but depending on what company you go through, you may not be able to. Here's CTV's Pat Foran.
My whole mission in this is just to let people know.
Carol Ann and John Jenisak of Oakville recently visited with family in British Columbia. Before they left, they made sure to book a rental car. But when they got to the rental counter in Victoria, they got a surprise.
When John handed her his driver's license, she said, "Oh dear, I'm sorry, but we can't rent to you because you're over 79. Which we had never heard of before.
Carol Ann was still 79 for another 3 months, so luckily she was able to rent the car as long as she did the driving, and John, who was 85, didn't get behind the wheel. The couple says the situation could have been worse.
If you had a trip arranged and you put deposits on hotels, that could be quite costly.
The Jenisaks rented a car with National Car Rental, whose parent company is Enterprise Mobility. A spokesperson told CTV News the National Car Rental branch in Victoria, BC, sets its own policies and procedures. Their age requirements for rental are outlined on their website under key facts and policies when you begin a reservation. Every rental company is different, and some don't have age restrictions, but some do. You could be denied a rental car if you're over 79 years of age, over 70 outside of Canada, if you're younger than 21 or 25 years old, if you have limited driving experience, have a bad credit rating, if you don't present a valid driver's license, or you don't have the proper form of payment. Most rental companies won't accept cash without a credit card on file. Last year, CTV News did a story with Brian Barnard of Etobicoke, who was denied a car rental because he wanted to pay with a prepaid credit card.
It was frustrating to go all the way there, then to be told that, you know, you won't take my form of payment.
If you're planning to rent a car, you'll want to check the fine print to make sure your trip goes as planned. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Uber is apologizing and updating its safety protocols after one of its drivers unknowingly rode away with a sleeping child in Toronto earlier this year. It happened on March 10th while a mother was unloading her 2 other kids from the Uber ride. It took police more than an hour to track down the driver and 5-year-old, in part because Uber representatives wouldn't help, citing privacy reasons. The company says it has since engaged with police and updated its protocols to better handle emergency requests. A celebration of Japanese Canadian art and culture, the largest indoor bounce park in North America, and Chilliwack's famous Sweet Corn Festival. Your Friday feel-goods are next. Plus, sharing wisdom and mowing lawns. Adam gets a century of insight from a 101-year-old Langley man mowing his lawn. Next on the Sawatsky sign-off. Right now, though, here's a preview of CTV Morning Live.
Intimate partner violence is on the rise, even more difficult to escape from when there's children involved. Tuesday on CTV Morning Live, a unique perspective on gender-based violence through a children's book. We sit down with the co-author, a former BC MLA, who wrote it based on her personal experience. Also, the latest on the ongoing trade war between Canada and the U.S. Will we get any closer to striking a deal? Plus, we're celebrating National Oyster Day, how you can confidently prepare yours at home. We're back after the long weekend. We'll see you Tuesday morning.
News, weather, and traffic. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live. Weekdays 6 to 9.
Well, it is time for Friday Feel Goods, a weekly roundup of unique events happening in Metro Vancouver. And while Vancouver Pride takes center stage, there is a lot happening this weekend. Oh, this looks like fun. And a fun way to burn off some energy, you can head to the brand new Extreme Bounce Inflate-A-Park in Surrey. It's located in Central Surrey Shopping Centre. It's being called the largest indoor bounce park in North America, packed with obstacle courses, high-tech visuals, and inflatable fun for the whole family to enjoy.
And there's a buzz in the air at Chilliwack's Greendale Acres Farm with the Sweet Corn Festival. So good. Kicking off this weekend, the Corn Maze is the main attraction, and this year it's all about the bees. The maze not only features a bee, but also includes some stops along the way that highlight just how important the tiny pollinators are to our planet. Guests can also take in live music, corn shucking, and eating competitions, and other family-friendly activities.
I love corn so much.
Oh, Chilliwack corn's the best.
Corn eating competition. I'm reminded of that Bugs Bunny cartoon where he eats it like a typewriter.
The thing is, that's how I eat it.
That's how you eat corn?
Yeah, it's row by row because I don't like it when it gets into my teeth.
I think you need to send us that video, Anne.
All right, I'll enter that contest. And a long-standing celebration of Japanese-Canadian culture returns to Vancouver this weekend. The 49th Annual Powell Street Festival gets underway in Oppenheimer Park from 11:30 to 7, both Saturday and Sunday. There will be a variety of performances, workshops, and food vendors on site. It's one of the largest and longest-running community arts festivals in Canada. Super fun.
Very cool.
Well, if you have any events you'd like us to highlight, email your tips to ctvfeelgoods@ctv.ca. Now, speaking of eating quickly, we've got one more thing you need to see. If you've ever watched your dog eat, you know they like to chow down pretty fast, but you haven't seen it from this angle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's just call this the schnoz cam. I don't know if I needed to see this, but it sure looks cute.
Yes, you did. Amazing. I want to set this up for Lucy.
Or maybe for when you eat the corn.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I can have a schnoz cam on my own. Or a corn cam right at the end.
All right, just before we get to the Sawatsky sign-off, Kevin, what do you have coming up for us at 11:30?
Well, Nafisa, we are continuing our wildfire watch. More than 140 now burning in BC. Paying close attention to central Vancouver Island, where the Wesley Ridge wildfire prompted another evacuation order this afternoon, impacting dozens more properties. It's burning between Port Alberni and Parksville, right near Cameron Lake. Another evacuation alert issued less than an hour ago for Little Qualicum Falls Provincial Park, a popular recreation and recreation site and campground nearby. We will bring you the latest updates and hear from a BC wildfire official at 11:30.
Great, sounds good. Thank you, Kevin. Well, finally, Adam learns the secrets to longevity and lawn mowing from a Langley man who has seen it all on the Sawatsky sign-off.
Although today is a special day, David Faulkner begins it in an ordinary way.
I get up about 6 o'clock and I make porridge.
The same breakfast the 101-year-old has been eating since he could still show his age on one hand.
We didn't even have a telephone.
Well, Dave remembers communicating through postcards and traveling on horses. He'll never forget enduring the Great Depression.
You couldn't afford to buy a new thing.
So Dave was taught how to maintain everything.
You gotta have old stuff to fix it.
And now, instead of using a walker for stability,
like carry tools,
pushes a cart so he's prepared for any possibility.
I never know what I run into all day.
Dave's especially grateful to be good with his hands, since things have gone so bad with his eyes.
I got a spot in the middle of my vision. It blacks out.
While his limited peripheral vision is foggy,
I feel
Dave's passion for mowing couldn't be more clear.
Oh, I like it. It's exciting.
1 to 10, Dave, how excited are you?
Oh, maybe 8.
Lawn Mowing Day achieves a strong score because Dave's work ethic is even stronger.
Make every day count. That's what I think.
But if you ask Dave what he's learned at the end of the day really counts,
and I married a lovely lady,
he'll tell you about the 75 years he spent with his beloved Elsa.
She looked after me. I tried to look after her too.
He'll tell you how proud he is of his kids, including Jan, who's visiting today.
Something will happen and you get a little laugh or a smile.
And while Dave suggests you always put family first and never think twice about doing the right thing,
just try to be honest about everything.
He's too humble to talk about the volunteering he's done for decades. While Dave doesn't know the secret to his longevity, he has no doubt about the meaning of life.
Try to be happy.
And the best way to do that?
And try to make other people happy.
And that is how you make every day, no matter your age, feel like 10 out of 10. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Langley.
He's got it figured out. Try to make other people happy. We try to do that at the end of the show, especially on a Friday.
Great advice from him. And, you know, mowing the lawn helps too.
I want one of those ride-on-top mowers. That's great.
The best. Great-looking lawn, too. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, great way to spend the long weekend outdoors. And let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight for the first day of August. Cotton candy clouds over Cole Harbour last night. I don't know if you caught them, but they were absolutely stunning. Thanks, Ed, for sending this beautiful photo in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. Email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
It is a beautiful evening out there, so if you do head out, make sure you come back and catch Kevin for CTV News at 11:30. We have news online anytime at ctvnewsvancouver.ca. Thank you for sharing part of your evening with us, and have a safe and happy long weekend.
My yacht was the third from the left, by the way.
Oh, yeah, they're paying you way more than me. She's got a private jet.
Yeah, you can come on it this weekend.
Yeah, I got to go now.
See you guys.